Hi everyone and welcome back to a little bit of Path of Exile. So, what will my league starting build be? Right, so last league I did a little bit of a comfort pick, right? I went for Toxic Rain, Raider and just be safe. This time around, I'm not feeling that, to be honest. I want to risk something, and would you look at that, we are back at Freezing Pulse. With the changes to the tree and the whole mastery system and stuff, I think we can make this work again. It might honestly not be much, but it should be enough to get me to Awakening level 5 Cyrus. And that's pretty much all I care about at Leaguestart, right? Is getting to the point where we can beat Cyrus for the first time and have a build that I'm comfortable enough with that we can actually deal with him. So that should be possible with this. In my eyes, we proved it last league. We had a bit more damage last league than we will have now, I think. Or like last league, like 2014, right? That was the league where I played this build. Yeah, so I was thinking about it a little bit more, like a lot more actually. I was theory crafting quite a bit. Honestly, with the whole like mastery things and stuff, I'm not sure what the best course of action will be, to be honest. Which is why I'm very, very careful with my expectations from how I understand it and what I saw in the path of building. I think it's gonna be fine, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for a whole bunch of builds. Especially some that we know for a long time. Those will be pretty interesting to see, I feel like. But yeah, if you want a solid league start without risks, definitely go for a comfort pick. Definitely go for something that you feel very comfortable with playing. I don't know what that is for you personally, obviously, but my favorite league starters have always been like builds that are easy to do. Like the guides need to be very, very good, right? Basically, you should be able to watch the video once, if there is one, or just a very well-written guide always works as well. I really like the written guides, to be honest. That's just something that I do personally like. But yeah, I mean, a good video with a solid path of building that has some notes in it that will explain you the things you need to watch out for, what you really wanna invest into early. Stuff like that helps tremendously in having a solid league start. So my recommendation for, or just in general, would be content creators like Cicerin, other hardcore players obviously as well. Big Ducks has done amazing builds in the past that were very easy to follow. Honestly, Enki's Archwitch was the first build I've played, so I always will recommend the build from Enki. It is a lightning casting Hierophant now, but you know what? It's still gonna be very, very much fun to play, I'm sure about that. Haven't had the chance to try it out. I definitely need to do that at some point, but I've played enough Archmage builds that I don't want to go at it like right now. But that's a-okay, right? And I'm sure I will be going back to Enki's build at some point. Excuse me for a second. Sorry, I had to cough there. I don't know, my throat is very, very dry. Whew. But yeah. So yeah, I just honestly went into a little bit of a look around. There's Hatred. Would you look at that? Level 24, we will be able to use that, which is nice. That will be the end of Arctic armor, which is okay. I'm just using it to not get chilled throughout the campaign. I think that's very much fun. I'm level 23, so that means Harkan doesn't have any forlings, right? Yep. That's okay though. That's okay. But yeah, honestly, just practicing the Leaguestart is always a good idea. Making sure that you know which skill gems you need and stuff like that. Having the path of building prepared. Honestly, that is so important. I cannot stress enough how much time you save with just minor preparations. You don't need to go overboard, right? All you need pretty much is know what you need to buy, where to buy it, when to buy it, and have a general idea of what will be the first things you need and what can be the more difficult things to get that you maybe do not have to prioritize as much, right? So this build honestly only really comes alive once you have Herald of Ice. That is when the build feels good. We have two want crafts here, vendor crafts, right, with the 2 rare rings. That's pretty much all I'm gonna be playing throughout the campaign, and I will be switching to a staff afterwards because you get some amazing stuff, amazing crit stuff on staffs, which is what I need, right? And honestly, with the new staff mastery block things where you get energy shield or life back depending on if you block attack or spell damage, I'm looking forward to see how that feels. The only thing that I think could be a bit tricky is survivability, so we might have to take a look at that once more when the league is going on, right? So, quick thing, at Leaguestart, I'm not gonna be able to play too much at the Leaguestart weekend, I think. The weekend that follows that, though, we will have our LAN party, and since we do not have like a game that everybody is playing at the moment, we will be, or 3 of our 5 guys there will be playing Path of Exile, so I will have some good amount of playtime at the LAN as well as afterwards, hopefully. So yeah, I reckon I will be playing for the first 2 or 3 weeks with this build, maybe, depending on how much time I'm able to put in. Let's say 2 weeks. I'm fairly sure that that's what I can expect. Now we have Hatred, and we no longer need Thingamabob? How's it called? Arctic Armor. Now, though, we have a problem of having not so much mana. So, Frostbomb's no problem. Flame Dash is already a problem, right? So, yeah, not sure how I feel about that. As long as we are one-shotting things, we shouldn't have any problems. But if you need repeated castings, that's a problem. So I need to iron out early leveling. Can I pick some mana up in a place where I feel like, okay, that's close enough? Honestly, just taking this node will already help a little bit. And Deep Wisdom. There we go. Problem solved on the fly. Now I know when I will be leveling this build in Scourge League, that is something I need to keep an eye out on, right? That's why I do some practice runs, or just one. Most of the time I will just take one character, and sometimes I go to Act 5 Kitava, sometimes I just go as far as the first 2 or 3 forlings in Act 3 and 4. It really depends. This time around, my practice is pretty much finished, because all I wanted to see is very early on what I will be doing. That was pretty much the most important thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, though. That's pretty much it. So let's have a quick look at the build itself in Path of Building. We will do a little cut here. There we go. We are back, and we will take a quick look at everything here. Right, the new skill tree, absolutely amazing. I really, really like those mastery nodes, and we will be getting some good stuff out of that. So, as I said in a couple of videos where I was talking about my own builds, or even how I want to take a look at damage from build guides, I like to don't have any flasks on, and I like to have as little ticked on here as possible. Convergence you will get once you have your fourth lab, right? Obviously also a buff that is not always on, but you can see when you get it, it makes a huge difference. So I like to have that on, just to have a little bit of an overview. And since I am using intensity, I like to go for the intensity of 2. That is what I was able to do almost always to Cyrus. I sometimes went up to 3. Now we can even go up to 4 with our tree. We could that before as well, but getting to a intensity of 4, honestly, was very difficult on Cyrus. Almost impossible, actually, because he was moving so much. On other bosses, this was very, very easy, though. So, yeah, that's a bit of a insight there. So, since we have power charge on crit on Frost Bomb, if we just get 1 power charge, right, that will not do too much to us, right? If you get all of them, though, that will boost our crit chance to 100%, and a nice little damage boost as well, like 70k. That's huge, right? That's huge. But yeah, so this is basically worst case scenario. Early on, let's check. Yes, Wild Righteous Fire isn't enabled. So early on, we will be using a Diamond Flask for sure. That will pretty much give us the crit to 100%. With the staff, if you don't have the staff though, right? If you have the 2 wands, we look poor. So that's priority number 1, is getting a good staff. Honestly, if you have a 6-linked chess piece, we can even 4-link this staff, and it will not cost too much, which is basically my plan. What you also can do is like get a spell crit chest, which we don't really need to, honestly. We will be able to have constant power charges and constant 100% crit chance, no problem. So that's going to be good. But we also will be using a Silver Flask for Onslaught. We might get Onslaught from a different source later on. I'll have to see. And then at Series Promise, I honestly just like the extra damage, as well as the life leech that you gain from it. It's really, really helpful. But the rest here, as you can see, this is all budget gear, like just stats, like life and the stat and a couple of resistances that we will take on these items. That's pretty much it. Leather belt even. This will be a Stygian for sure, as fast as possible with a jewel on there. Maybe even a facing jewel, I'll have to see. But yeah, so with the flasks enabled, let's say we have all power charges. Let's say we gain intensity of 4. We are looking, with Calling Strike, we are looking at the combined DPS of 1 million. That's actually not too bad, right? And if you enable Wild Righteous Fire for just a moment, we are looking even better. With intensity of 2, almost 1 million. That should be possible, right? If you get Tailwind Boots, you boost your damage even further. But as I said, I just want to see what I can do against the boss. We will be chilling, hopefully, constantly. But other than that, we don't have much, right? So we rely on crit, we rely on chilling and freezing. That's the plan. As you can see, with the intensity, you can boost your damage, but that's why I like to calculate with 2. Other than that, there's really not too much to say, to be honest. We might invest into frenzy charges. That will be a good damage boost as well. But I haven't decided yet. Honestly, as I said, all I want to see is how will this do early on. I honestly feel with a bit better gear than just life and resistances, we will be able to do good things. As I said, all it really has to do, is take down Awakening level 5 Cyrus. That's pretty much the goal for this build. We've done it in the past. On Awakening level 5, we were over 1 million DPS. But yeah, what I really want to emphasize are those mastery points. I think they're amazing. Intensity is actually now moved into one of those mastery points. I was searching for this a long time, actually. But yeah, it's on a mastery node. And I think that's fine, right? I would always go for this cluster anyways, and just having to path up here and go like there, obviously no longer, but in the past you had to take another 4 points basically, and now it's just 1, which is amazing. Here, honestly, with time we will be able to like let go of this spell crit node. That will free up a slot. I just took it here because I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go. And this critical mastery node here, +3 to level of all crit support gems, that is what enables the actual 23 here. And early on, get a level 21 freezing pulse. That will be a huge damage buff. Honestly, that's insane. That's really, really good, just from 1 level, right? So that is priority with the staff. These 2 things is what I want. Throughout the campaign, if you don't want to use like cold penetration, I often use added cold damage. If you take a look, this is 585k. With cold pen, it's 597k. Penetration good against bosses. Added cold, very good against white monsters. I'm in the habit now of just running with cold pen, honestly, but early on, you can go with added cold damage as well. Easy peasy, should go fine. Defenses, honestly, I just have Steel Skin with increased duration, a couple or 1 buff from our Stone Golem for some life regen. That's pretty much all we have. That's pretty much all we have. But some stuff mastery, which should be interesting. 21% block. Yep, that's not much, but it should be fine, to be honest. Looking good. And yeah, what else is there to say? Diamond Flask, honestly, once we no longer need it, boom, let's get the rubies in there. Gives us a little bit more block chance. I will have to see how it feels. But it should be good. It honestly should be fine for Leaguestart, for me personally, because I like the build, and I don't mind if I take a little bit longer to get there. But as I said, if you want to have a smooth Leaguestart, do not as I do as I say. Which is get a build that is proven to work fine, and don't worry about tinkering around yourself too much. If you want to though, by all means go ahead. I'm a fan of people doing their own thing. So yeah, that's it. That's all the preparations I have done. I will be doing my loot filter exactly at Leaguestart, actually, like half an hour before, maybe, or an hour before. If I hope I can play at on Friday. I really hope so. I should be able to, but it's not gonna be for long. But yeah, I will be doing the loot filter then. Honestly, for Leaguestart, all I do is go on Filterblade, take the semi-strict filter, download it, and go. Honestly, that's all I do for Leaguestart. Yes, you see a lot of stuff that you shouldn't see, probably. Stuff that you not need outside of solo self-found, where you just want to pick up stuff for other characters, right? But I don't care. I want to see the things, and I'm not in a race, especially this league. Again, I will be taking it in a slow pace. That's just personal preference. I don't want to stress too much about the league. If I really enjoy it, then I will be having more time to invest this time around. But other than that, I just want to have fun. The league looks very promising. It looks very much like a ton of fun, and I can't wait until we can all play. So this is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye.